Hello students, and today's lecture is on a very confusing topic. It's regarding the screening and diagnostic criteria of diabetes in pregnancy. Now of note is that I'm not mentioning pre-gestational diabetes, type 1 diabetes, or a new onset typical gestational diabetes over here. I just mentioned diabetes in pregnancy because by the time you get to see the patient, obviously she is already diabetic or pregnant, and you don't know whether she had pre-gestational diabetes or she contracted the diabetes during pregnancy, or if very few selected females will come to you who would already be taking insulin before, or they were on some medications before pregnancy. That means you already know that they were having pre-gestational diabetes. So what should be two things now? What should be the screening criteria and what should be the diagnostic criteria of diabetes in pregnancy? Whether we should screen all female, whether we should go by a particular single one test, or whether a two-step process is better. I'm here to answer most of these questions because they are not only asked during your Viva in the major case, just in case you get GDM, but they're also elaborately asked in theory. I have seen this question repeated 2-3 times, like what are the screening and diagnostic tests available and what is the evidence of these particular tests. So let me tell you one thing for sure before I start this class. There is no universal screening test which has been recommended by any one global institution, and it runs all over. So there are multiple groups which are responsible for giving you different screening tests, out of which you have American guidelines. The ACOG recommends something else, RCOG recommends something else, FOXY recommends something else, Government of India recommends something else, WHO recommends something else, ADA recommends something else, IADP, SG recommends. So you have so many recommendations. If you want a nutshell of all these recommendations, you can see this chart which is being shown to you, and it will be flashed later on again in the lecture. But right now, let me start with when to screen and how to screen. Then we'll go to the diagnostic criteria. Remember, right now I'm talking about just screening. I'm not talking about diagnosis. I'm talking about screening. Once again, screening. Now the question comes whether you should screen all females the moment they come to you, or you should screen a selected few when they come to you. If you're selecting the few, what is the selection criteria and what will be the test that you will use for screening? So let's answer the first question first. Will you screen all or would you screen a selected few? So let me tell you that India happens to be one of the high risk groups when it comes to diabetes in pregnancy, or let's say diabetes as a whole. So when you talk about those high risk population for diabetes, there are a few criteria of a high risk population. Hispanic origin, African Asian population happens to be one of them. So Asians are at higher risk. So we all fall in that category of getting screened, number one. But not just that, let's talk about global index, and that's why we'll talk about all the essential reasons for screening. So first of all, a female who is obese, a female who has a history of PCOS, a female who has had a history of previous baby more than or equal to 4 kgs in the last pregnancy, a patient who has come with history of gestational diabetes in the previous pregnancy, somebody who is a first relative who it runs in the family, anybody from the ethnic group that I was talking to you about, like I said, obese people, and so on. This entire box is right here. You can read it yourself. These are the these kind of people should be offered early screening. So the moment they come to you, be it in 8 weeks or 10 weeks or first trimester or early second trimester, you should immediately screen. Now, earlier on, there was a recommendation at screening the females for GDM at between 24 to 28 weeks, that time at which usually this GDM cases precipitate. The reason of GDM cases being precipitated in the second trimester is very well known. It's already there in my notes. It's there in the theory. I'll just recapitulate it a little bit. So basically, you have the the insulin metabolism. It shifts in the second trimester of pregnancy, as a result of which it precipitates the GDM cases. If at all you are supposed to have a GDM in this pregnancy, it will precipitate during this particular time, and because of which this time was chosen to screen for GDM. Now, how would you screen is the second question. Now, let me tell you this, that there is no set criteria of a screening test in the early trimester. Fasting and postprandial is not the screening method. Random is never the screening method. So screening method, what will you use? Usually after reading so much, what I have come to know is that most of the institutions, they go by 50 gram OGTT, but that is to be done at 1 hour postprandial. Mostly. So you give this 50 gram OGTT, and if the value, now some people they say if it's equal to or more than 130, some say it's equal to or more than 140. What we have seen it, if you put a a lower threshold, more people, false positives increase. So what I take also in my institute also, we follow this as the method of choice. So you give 50 grams of glucose to the patient irrespective of the last meal. You can call it a glucose challenge test also. This is the screening method. So you give this 50 grams of glucose to a patient who just walks into your clinic at the time of her test, and after 1 hour you just see the sugar level. If it is more than or even equal to 140, she goes into the high risk zone and she definitely needs a diagnostic test. What is a diagnostic test? I will come to later. So right now the screening modality that I have told you is this, a 50 gram OGTT or even GCT you can call it. Earlier on it was called as glucose challenge test. Now it is mostly for OGTT itself. According to ACOG latest guidelines, which is there in 2018, this is what it is said about the screening modality. Even ACOG recommends this. In between, a few tests were, kind of incorporated, like according to IDPSG, it still recommends a 75 universal screening with 75 gram 2-hour GTT. It has its own values. I'll get to that later, but that is like a diagnostic test. At any point in time when the patient is coming to you, one-step approach for establishing the diagnosis of GTM. There is no, screening modality, no diagnostic modality, just one step. At any point in time that patient is coming to you, you will go for this 75 gram glucose, and I'll just get back to you how much are the values. So what you do is that you give this patient 75 grams glucose, and then you take 0, 1 and 2 hour samples, and fasting 92, 180 and 153 is the cutoff. So 0, 1 and 2, 92, 180 and 153 is the cutoff. So if any of these values is deranged, even one value is equal to or more, she falls in the category of GTM, and then you kind of manage her accordingly. You diagnose her as GTM and you manage accordingly. One of not much mention is regarding the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development causes, that I will not stick on to. But in the light of this, American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the ACOG, it supports this two-step process. Now, this was the screening test. How about the confirmatory tests? Now, here is where the confusion starts, or you have multiple tests to follow. So now I'll just make a quickly one table in which I will tell you those tests usually which are of note and of importance. They're asked in the examination, and you will not be pardoned if you're not able to give the values. That I'm going to tell you in the next segment.